Hey, welcome to episode 62 of the 5 Year Career Podcast. Today's topic is from solo struggle to team success, how to unleash your real estate potential. And this is serious stuff and really big business here. Did you know that 75% of realtors fail in their very first year? 87% of them are out of business in the first 5 years. Now, most of these are sole practitioners, not members of a team, not operating as a business. And that's we're going to talk today about why structure, resources, and reputation of an established team can help you close more transactions more often, bigger and faster. So imagine if you can, my friends, starting a real estate business from scratch that creates quality, consistent, exclusive leads and allows you to create a business that in 5 short years will pay you abundantly for the rest of your life. Now, we always like to say it sounds like hype, but it's true. Welcome to the 5 Year Career Podcast, a virtual seminar in every episode. And I'm here joined by my two cohorts, Mr. Patrick Butler. Good morning, Patrick.
Good morning, Eric, and good morning to everybody listening in on today's video podcast.
And also to his left and my right, Mr. Skip Wiley. Good morning.
How y'all doing? I'm up here in beautiful Pensacola, Florida. I used to have a northern accent. Now I just have an accent.
I caught that y'all, man. That's
I did too.
our city slicker has gone country.
Yeah.
So welcome, guys. Two guys with extraordinary experience, successful each in their own right, and bring an incredible tool set and skill set to the table. So 5 years to financial freedom. And you know what it all starts with? Leads. So visit us at YouTube /at 5 Year Career. That's the at sign, 5 Year Career spelled out. There's 61 other episodes plus a whole lot of other information going on there. And after all, isn't that what we want, right? To do it in five, not 40. And today we're going to cover all this and more. And so, what I want to do is get right into the meat of the matter, right? We have a structured 20-minute outline on the benefits of a realtor being part of the team with key points, explanations, and a natural flow for engaging your listeners. And P.S., if you want a copy of that outline, all you have to do is text the word team to 561-861-2366. That's 561-861-2366. So, guys, I would like to say that I think every realtor, especially in the beginning, should consider joining a team.
Mhm.
And we're going to talk about that. And so we're going to talk not only about why that is a case, but also how to do that and maybe how to pick the right team and all of that stuff. So let's talk about, Patrick, a little bit about support, which is very important as you're starting out. And by the way, when I say starting out, some of us, we get to a point where we've done things so sporadically that it's time to hit the reset button. So we could be talking to a 5 year, a 10-year agent who's just not hitting the numbers and getting the results that they want. And sometimes I know I've done it in my career where I just said, you know what, I need to go back to the basics, hit the reset button,
Mhm.
and then and then learn from the pros that I want to be like.
Yep. So couldn't agree more. It's funny as we were talking about this. First of all, teams. Eric, your voice is a little hoarse because you were watching another team, the Florida Panthers, in their attempt to win a second Stanley Cup championship. So that's awesome stuff. But I was thinking back, waxing melancholy or whatever the word is. In my earlier days in the real estate business, I remember I was doing floor time. If you all don't know what that is, that's where you sit in the office and you answer phone calls from newspaper ads. And my replacement, Joanne, wasn't there. I was looking at my watch. I was like, she's running late. So I called Joanne up. I said, hey, Joanne, you're up next on floor duty. And she goes, I'm not on until Thursday. I said, today is Thursday, Joanne. And I thought if there's somebody that needed to be part of a team, it was that young lady. She didn't even know what day it was, let alone what to do in the business. But it's interesting. And Eric, I couldn't agree more. So I've had to restart my career many times. You get into one niche and in some cases that niche fades away. Bankruptcy business was phenomenal for 14 years, and then COVID came and killed it. And I personally had to start all over again. And I was not too happy about the thought of going back to basics the way I started my original real estate career, picking up the phone, making cold calls, calling for sale by owners. I wanted to get back in the saddle quickly, and becoming part of our team was one of the really important pieces to the puzzle. And more importantly than business development, it was the esprit de corps, the team ship, the team members that we have that enabled me to stay on top of the motivational game. So, being a sole practitioner in the beginning, when you don't know what you're doing and you're not making any money, can be extremely depressing and overwhelming. And that's why so many people fail. Maybe it's the breadwinner of the household. It could be the wife or the husband, and 3 months go by and they don't make a dollar. Now all of a sudden they're being pressured by the family. We got to pay the bills, man. Why don't you get back out of the business that you dreamed of getting into and go be a whatever it was that you were beforehand and take some job? The other thing that's interesting is in today's environment for us, I don't see you guys in person much at all, once or twice a year. So we do our team building virtually. We do it through Zoom meetings, we do it through phone calls. And that's a shift of paradigms because the old days of going to the real estate office and hanging out with a bunch of your cronies and drinking coffee and telling war stories are kind of gone now, right? So choosing the right team and executing your being part of the team is all something that's going to require a new mindset. And by the way, the mentorship that you'll get from the team, especially this team, if you want to become part of what we do, we're here to help you do that. So we provide guidance, we provide our expertise, and also support in addition to doing things for you as part of the team. If you are new to the business, we always, have the branch manager or the broker that we can rely on, but they're not always the best mentor either. Sometimes they're just there earning a paycheck, doing their thing. And so selecting the right team mates is really vital. Another thing that's really important, though, is the ability to leverage off of their knowledge. So in real estate, we can often get involved with a transaction that may be beyond our scope of expertise. It might be a short sale. It might be a buyer that's got really special financing needs. And I've got to tell you, the School of Hard Knocks is called the School of Hard Knocks for a reason. It's costly and it's painful to learn from your own mistakes. Better to learn from somebody that's made the mistake in the past and can guide you saying, hey, let me give you a tip. Let me give you a piece of advice. Go down this path if you're dealing with these things because I've done it 100 times before myself. So why waste that time and energy? What we're going to talk about in part of today's call as well is divvying up the revenue. And sometimes we think, oh my gosh, I'm going to be losing money if I join part of a team. I'm getting less than 100% of something. And my God, that age old axiom, 50% of something is much better than 100% of nothing, couldn't be more true in the world of real estate and teams. One last piece I'd like to share in my segment here is the emotional burnout. Real estate, again, can be very traumatic if you're not making money. If you're closing sales and making money, it's fun, man. You're making big $15,000, $20,000 commissions, $30,000 commissions all day, every day is a wonderful thing. But if you're not doing that, then having that emotional support, somebody just to give you that pat on the back saying you're doing a good job. But teams together, everyone achieves more is really what we believe to be the vital key in today's world as a real estate practitioner. Eric, back to you in the studio.
Yeah, so true, so true. And like we were talking about, systems and the tools and the resources that a team brings, but you can't overestimate the value of, sometimes you need, a shoulder to cry on, somebody, so somebody to vent with, or like in the gym, somebody to spot you while I try a little harder. And I know that
Mhm.
knowing that I have that team behind me is priceless. So Skip, let's go back to the whole conversation. Lead generation. Lead generation is the lifeblood of every business. But let's talk about how a team can actually boost your lead generation.
In my humble opinion, after coaching 5,000 plus real estate agents, mortgage loan officers. The single biggest reason why people fail in real estate is lack of leads and what to do with the leads once they get them. And you mentioned, Patrick, very clearly that part of being part of a team is support, and that support and that camaraderie that is developed through, each of us have on this call have distinctly different skills. And those skills, what works for me might not work for you. But if you're part of a team, there's somebody on that team that's going to match up with you and going to help you through situations. But let's talk specifically. Solo agents often struggle to generate consistent leads. An agent working alone may rely on referrals, organic leads, social media posts, leading to very unpredictable income. So how does a team help? Well, when you join a team, it provides a steady stream of leads from shared marketing, the team marketing, team open houses, webinars, which we're going to talk about in detail today. If you're part of the right team, that team is doing a consistent education process through webinars and through past client databases. A team leader is going to have a database, and since you're on his team, you're going to have the ability to benefit from that. And being part of a team removes the guesswork from where the next deal or the next transaction is actually going to come from. Second thing, another significant benefit is teams pool resources. If you're a solo agent and you want to succeed in real estate, I heard that 95% of all people who get into real estate come into the business with $5,000 or less in savings. Well, that goes pretty quickly if you're spending $500 a month for Facebook, $1,000 a month for professional videos. If you're doing any kind of advertising, that 5,000 is going to go rapidly. But with a team combines a budget to run ads. The team might hire a graphic designer or somebody to support you with social media. A team uses proven marketing funnels. And so even a new agent who doesn't have a great deal of money can get professional exposure without the upfront costs that a solo agent has. A third point is shared leads mean less cold calling and warm prospects. I hear this over and over again. I spent $5,000 last month on Zillow and I got nothing out of it. Well, the percent of people, the cold calling that's necessary for a new agent and the confidence that that new agent has goes away really quick if you're spending money and you're not getting immediate results. So a team provides you with leads from the team, reduces the cost of those leads because the team carries the cost. The next item on here is a team can typically afford better tools. As an example, 4 years ago, and over the past 4 years, I've spent $10,000 developing a webinar program that we're going to talk about specifically today, one of the best ways to actually create leads. But if you're brand new to the business, do you have $4,000, $5,000, $8,000 to invest? Well, if you join the right team, that team already has those tools in place. It enables you to be more professional. Also, when you join a team, branding is everything in the real estate industry. And if you're part of a team that's already branded in that local market, when you go out to get a listing or when you're working with a buyer has more confidence because of the branding of the team. And finally, I think a very significant point, and we talk about it all the time, more leads very simply lead to more closings and faster business growth. So being part of a team is critically important. And it is the single biggest factor why people will succeed. If they get in the business and they're solo, 87% of those people are out of the business in 5 years. But if they have an opportunity to join a team, And people always say, why should I join a team? I'm going to make less money. Well, 100% of zero is how much?
Zero.
Zero. And if you join a team and you have more leads, you have more support, more coaching, your opportunity to do more transactions are obviously there. And it's one of the greatest benefits of being part of any team, but specifically our team.
Excellent. Thanks, Skip. And the most important thing that we can be doing at any given time is working directly with a customer or a lead. So if we can help solve, and by the way, that's another advantage of a team, right? Is a team already has experience. If you're brand new and people say, well, how long have you been in a business? Well, my response would be, well, our team has a combined experience of over 100 years. You know, and we've got people on our team, and I'm talking about this team, right?
Just me.
100 years each.
And
Uh,
um
hey,
and so the whole point is that you don't now that they're not getting just you. Okay, they're getting the whole team. And that takes me to the next thing. You know, as a real estate agent, as a business that you really are, you're in charge of doing the marketing, you're in charge of sweeping the floors, you're in charge of doing everything.
mhm.
And there's only so many hours in a day. When you are part of a team, it allows you to specialize and do what you do best. And there's people on the team that are great clerically speaking. I hate paperwork. And I love the fact that in a team situation, someone else is doing the paperwork. I do what they think is heavy lifting, but what I think is fun, which is spending time with people and selling and and promoting properties while someone else does what their strength is. Admin staff, I never undervalue them because they handle, the majority of the paperwork and the detail, the minutia that has to happen, meeting on the deadlines, because if I'm spending all day doing paperwork, guess what I'm not doing? I'm not selling, right? And so that has to happen at some time. And this is pure leverage. Some team members handle buyer leads, some handle seller leads, some handle rentals, some handle the other specific areas. Faster follow-up is the name of the game. Today, the phrase I hear all the time is speed to lead. Faster follow-ups mean more closings, means better and happier client experience, higher conversion rates. You name it, you're starting to see how a team can make a significant difference. And yeah, we come back to that whole conversation. Yes, you'll give up a piece of your commission pie, but at least it's a pie, as opposed to a lot of times people are struggling in so many directions that they get nothing done. And this is how delegation and prior experience on how to delegate and how to distribute within teams to closing more deals. And all when you're part of a well-oiled system, ladies and gentlemen, that's a lot less stressful and it keeps the business being fun. It prevents the burnout. And talking about burnout, Patrick, let's talk about work-life balance and that
Sure.
whole stress.
Yeah, and it's funny, Eric, from something you said earlier that, and Skip, something you said as well, the most important thing we can be doing in our real estate business is working with a buyer or a seller that
Mhm.
can sign on the dotted line and execute a transaction. All of the other stuff is support work to get us there. There are entire seminars on how to structure your day so you're doing the important stuff because so many people sit there and spend 8 hours reorganizing their file cabinets or stapling papers back together, doing the things that are comfortable, but not the things that are profitable. And so when you can take that off of the plate, you no longer have that excuse to keep you going.
Mhm.
And one of the biggest challenges that we face as sole practitioners is a work-life um, balance. And Skip, you said something as well that, when you're out there working with a customer, in fact, the roller coaster is the typical solo practitioner's conundrum. If they're good at business development, they get a couple deals going, and now they have to stop doing business development to process and to do the stuff. So then they stop developing business. Now they've got their files closing and they're back to zero again, and they've got to go back on the roller coaster. But if you can continue doing the things that you excel at, and if you are the business developer, if you're the person that generates the leads, all the better. You can truly call the shot. So, the team environment can help you cover yourself during vacations. I got to tell you, I've lived that world in many of my different businesses that I've run where I couldn't take a vacation. And it was what I chose to do. But looking back on it, not the smartest way to run your business. Better to have somebody that can back you up and support you. And that also leads to the whole concept of feeling overwhelmed, right? You can be a little snippy with the family when you've got too much stuff going on. So being part of a team and being able to shift some of the responsibility to your teammates is vital. Right before we got on this podcast today, I said to Eric, I've got a listing that I need you to take. Oh, gee, what a terrible thing. Because I am not in South Florida anymore. I'm now in North Florida, and this is a South Florida listing opportunity. What a great reason to be part of a team right there. It's a, hey, hand me a listing, and then the tenant that lives in it is going to buy it. So that's part of it. Skip, you've got a listing in your marketplace that we shared as well. So the team effort makes sense. And again, it doesn't mean that you're making less money. You're making more money. You're just divvying it up differently. Shared responsibilities also means more predictable schedule. So work-life balance, we talk about doing open houses and we talk about doing webinars and podcasts and those kind of things. Now you're talking weekends and evenings. And if you're also working the 9 to 5, whether it's a part-time job, which is the most challenging thing that I've seen, is somebody trying to do real estate and another job, not impossible, but challenging for work-life balance. These are all things to take into consideration. And last but not least, as far as work-life balance, being part of a team gives you an opportunity to grow professionally. Many of us in this business have gotten our real estate broker's license. We may own companies or a company, and you only get to that point by doing the business successfully. It's tough to be a broker and coach realtors if you've never made a sale yourself. So, it's important to go through that process. And oftentimes your teams may be part of other groups, coaching groups, such as the 5-year career or Tom Ferry or whomever the case it may be. You can also take advantage of those things as well, leveraging the costs, oftentimes benefiting from the investment of others. So, together each achieves more is really the mainstay of being part of a team. We wouldn't be doing what we're doing as sole practitioners ourselves. So we are living that model every single day. Eric?
And you sparked a thought. When I first started in the business, when I went to go work for the very first company back at the time called Merrill Lynch Realty.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes, Merrill Lynch was in the real estate business as well. And so I joined this office. I was a fresh kid, just out of college, and I didn't even know what I didn't know in reality. But I did have a keen sense is that what I did is I went to the top producer in my office and I just said, listen, let me do the work you don't want to do. Now, this goes back a ways, before transaction coordinators, before, admin, and the agent was supposed to do everything. And and this guy, he gave me all the dirty work, but I learned so much from it. It was the best thing. And very, very quick, I was like the rookie producer. Now, that was lucky because I could see who it was in the office. In today's day and age, where people spend very little time in the office, and in some cases, there is no office, having a team, that, like you said, now we meet face to face still via Zoom, via Teams, via meetings, and the ability to get experts from across the country now, that I have access because of all of this to people who I never would have had access before, and definitely not as a solo unproven practitioner. So this is where the income and the rubber hits the road. Skip, let's talk a little bit about income and career growth now.
Okay, we're going to talk specifically about the future of real estate. You were mentioning a minute ago Nobody goes to the office anymore. I can envision 10 years from today, because of AI and advanced technology, that nobody will go to an office anymore. I wouldn't want to be the owner of commercial real estate buildings 20 years from today, or even 5 years from today, because of how rapidly technology is changing our ability to communicate effectively, like we're doing right now via Zoom and other things that we don't even know exist today. But here's the thing. There is a whole new generation of companies. If you're going to join a team, it's a selection process. And there are 7 and a growing number of companies that offer teams, individuals, an opportunity to build a business inside the company that they work for. And that is what everybody I know that has made lots of money in business is being self-employed. They think they have to be self-employed to go out and build a business. Well, let me give you an example. If you're part of a team, number one, you still have an opportunity as the team leader to earn direct income. And if you're part of the right company, as you do more production, your income percentage, the commission that you earn, is going to go up. There are many companies out there that pay 80 to 100% commission today, and allow you to build a team inside their company. The second thing, why would you ever want to build a team? Well, for me, I have 65 people on my current team, and I earn what's called indirect income. And that income is very substantial for me. I earn income mentoring new people. I pick up a spread on their income. I'm at one commission, they're at another. They have a benefit and I have a benefit. All of the benefits that we have spoken about so far, that's their benefit of joining my team or your team. Another thing that happens is, depending on what company you're with, you also have an opportunity to earn passive income off of those individuals. And that is a rare thing in the real estate industry. Those 7 companies that are out there offer an opportunity to earn passive income. So you can build a team under the company that you work for. And as you get ready to wind down your business, you will actually have income that is still in place when you get ready to retire, semi-retire, take off for 6 months or a year. And that's a significant advantage. Another thing that I think is really important, why would you want to join a team? Well, newer agents always learn faster. Patrick, you said it a few minutes ago. If you're doing 1 transaction every month, or if you're part of a team and your team environment allows you to do 2 transactions or 6 transactions versus 1 transaction, well, the fastest way to learn anything is do the business. And so being part of a team, because the team provides so many benefits, you're very likely to have faster closings, faster commission checks. And as we mentioned a minute ago, as you grow, you're going to have an opportunity to start mentoring other people like you're being mentored, and earn commissions off of them, commissions and bonuses off of them. But the real reason to join a team, quite candidly, is confidence. As a new agent, I remember when I started 700 years ago in Jacksonville, Florida. I was working for J.C. Penney's for pennies, and I wanted more in life. And I actually started part-time. I was working a 50-hour schedule, and I had very limited time, and I made a mistake. I joined a small company with no training program, no support, no tools. And instead of learning the business rapidly, I learned the business slowly, which cost me thousands of dollars. I made a quick decision after I was in it for a short while to join a team, and it quickly changed my whole environment. It allowed me still have a full-time job and benefit off of that team that I joined. The other thing that I think is really critical is join the right team. If you want to do luxury business, don't join a team that does non-luxury business. Also, very critically today, there are companies out there that do $1 billion a year every year on referrals. the company I happen to work for, and I'm not going to mention the name of that company, but that company has 87,000 agents in 27 countries. So the likelihood when I joined that team of getting referrals from not only local referrals, but international referrals is really benefits me as a team member on that team. Um, and two other quick points. When you're part of a team, eventually you're going to want to become a team leader. So as you're learning in the team environment, you quickly become more educated, skilled, and it teaches you how to become a better leader when you decide to take the role of building your own team. And when you build your own team, we've talked about it in several different contexts, but really you'll get leadership bonuses as a team leader. You'll develop that commission split income that I was talking about, what we call direct income. And if you join one of those 7 companies, that you'll have an opportunity to develop passive income, like retirement income as you're working today, building a team. Right now, if I stopped working, my team would pay me somewhere between $700 a month and $2,000 a month over the past 2 years. So that's income that's going to continue when I decide to no longer work. Or if I just decide to go to Italy for 6 months, that income will continue to come in if I decide to stay active. And finally, what is really important about team building is, in a short, quick, concise story, I have built 2 companies. And in the early stages of both of those companies, I decided to be what I call a sole proprietor. I had to do production to keep the companies alive. But once I got to a certain stage in that company, I realized quickly that the way I was working, I wasn't building a company, I was building me. And if something happened to me, my income was gone. So I made a decision quickly to recruit people to teach them to do what I was doing. In the first company, I had 200 real estate agents. In the second company, over 1,000 loan officers, that I could go to Italy for 6 months, worry about the company a little bit, but that income stream wasn't from my own personal efforts, it was from the efforts of others. And that's the major advantage of building a team. Find a company that you can build a solid company inside that company. And why do it that way? Limited liability, limited cash to build that company, and the support of that company to help you build your company inside their company. And that's a great way to build a team. Back to you.
Thanks, Skip. And that's it just highlights. And as I hear you talking about your experience, how valuable is that to have that as a resource on your team? Somebody that, has been there, done that, got a few t-shirts, in the process. So to recap right now, teams, right? Patrick, together, everyone achieves more. That's the acronym. You get
Mhm.
support, you get leads, you get efficiency, you get leverage, you get balance, you get growth. Tell me what's wrong with that. Encourage realtors considering, that you're talking to have them come with you to join a team. Like Skip said earlier, you can build a team within a team as well. And you'll find out that, like I said, I've got a guy who just does rentals. I've got a guy who just does property management. I've got a guy that
Right.
just does this stuff, and they do it better than if I tried to do all of those things together. So hey, I'd love to hear some of your team experiences. What are your thoughts on team? Good or bad? Share them here so that we can all take something away from that. I want to thank everybody for listening and for joining us here on the 5 Year Career Podcast. If you want, you can also get a copy of the outline that we talked about today. Simply text the word team to 561-861-2366. By the way, we also have a do it for you component talking about teams. we have an awesome program. In fact, if I was hitting the reset button, and I'm watching two guys on this call with me right now who could easily relocate from where they were. Patrick, he's not skipping a beat. He moved up to North Florida. And Skip, same thing, up to North Florida, a whole different environment, knew no one there. And yet, thanks to our done for you component, our webinar system, unmatched, unrivaled, and we invite you to come check it out. In fact, come be a free guest at one of our webinars. Do we have that QR code that we want to show before we wrap things up?
Keep chatting for just a minute. I'll pull it up.
Yeah,
Oh,
hey Eric, you said something that was really significant. I moved from beautiful Boca Raton to Pensacola, Florida, for family reasons. Something I had to do. Didn't want to do it, but I had to do it. And when I arrived for the first 11 months, I retired, so to speak. I played golf 3 days a week. I still had a little income coming in from the company I work with, passive residual income. So it allowed me to take off for 10 months. But then when I got ready to get back in the game, I went to the place that I knew would work, and that was webinars. Not knowing a single soul in this city, I quickly developed a pathway to create massive leads that would allow me to meet a lot of people in a short period of time and generated immediate sales. My first webinar was 3 people on that webinar, and 60 days later, 2 of those 3 people bought their first home. So I am convinced that any brand new agent, any experienced agent, Patrick, the old man from the younger than me man, can move from South Florida to North Florida, develop a database of people overnight because of webinars. So you got any feedback about that, Patrick?
I do. And by the way, so we're sharing that QR code right now. Take a photo of it, go to the website, register for our next home buyer webinar. But yes, Skip, I mean, right now, in fact, I'm homeless right now. I closed on my house, sold a lot faster than I figured it would, but I planned for that. So I'll be Airbnb-ing it, staying with a really great friend and former neighbor for a little while, and then we'll be bouncing around to some other locations. When my next build is done in November, I will already be ready to jump into business there. And that's another niche that we've been talking about, and I'm super excited, which is not the first time home buyer, but the last time home buyer. It'll be the, retire, relax, and right size yourself into a better future. So we're excited about that. And we'll be doing this together as what? As a team. We will
As a
all
team.
share in this opportunity together. So it is exciting. It's not a frightening venture because I still have other things going on that I'm doing that don't require me to be in any one location. It's nationwide because of what Skip just talked about, being with the right groups that allow you to do things not just in your backyard, but across the entire country and even globally in some cases. So very exciting stuff. So before I take this screen share down, take that photo now while you can. Otherwise, as Eric said, shoot him a text and we'll get you the information anyway.
Yeah,
Great. Thank
register
you.
for our next event. That would even be better. You want to see how it works? Register for our next event.
And by the way, I had forgotten to pull up that flyer earlier, and my teammate helped me get back on track and pull it up so that you could take the photo of it and join us on our next webinar. See, it works all the time.
That's
Absolutely.
right. Six eyes are better than two, and three heads are better than one. So thank you guys. Patrick, wherever you are this week, it's going to be like, where's Waldo for the
Right.
next, 6 months? You
Exactly.
know, Skip, up in North Florida. Two guys with a wealth of information. Thank you guys for joining us here on another fun episode of the 5 Year Career Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you like what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave some feedback, a review. The feedback means the world to us. And it could also mean the world to somebody else also participating in what we call teamwork. So stay tuned for more exciting content on our upcoming episodes. Follow us on YouTube for more behind the scenes updates, information, and sneak peeks. And remember, don't just listen, use this information to build your own 5-year career. Again, you can check it out at youtube.com/@5-year career. Like us, follow us, and we will see you on our next episode. Until then, happy real estating.